Good morning, everyone. We are pleased to have all of you here today. My name is Ebenezer Ademensa, and I'm a training coordinator at the Temple Small Business Development Center. The Temple SBDC helps small businesses start and grow. We do this through our no-cost costing, consulting, webinars such as this, and other training programs. We are proud to be part of the nationally accredited network of SBDCs, over 1,000 centers across the US. You have joined us today for a webinar that we have dubbed Marketing on a Budget. After this meeting, a follow-up email will be automatically sent to all attendees within 2 business days with the materials to be used for the webinar. And also, all attendees are currently muted. However, if you have any questions or any queries, we encourage you to post it in the Q&A and chat box. I'll now hand over the presentation to Gab to handle our webinar for today. Gab, you have the floor.
Thank you so much, Ebenezer. And good morning, everyone. Thank you for spending your morning with us today. My name is Gab Sacidor. I'm a marketing consultant here at the Temple Small Business Development Center. Today, we're going to be talking about how to market your small business on a budget. First, I'm just going to share just a little bit about our center, what we do here, and how we can work together. Then we'll give just a brief overview about the presentation today. I hope to get through it in about 60 minutes. We will have some time after the presentation for some Q&A, but I'd really like to have that ongoing conversation in the chat as well, just so this way, we can provide some, real examples, maybe use your industry or your specific business as we go and talk about some different marketing strategies. So if you want to, go ahead and introduce yourself in the chat. If you want to share the type of business you have or are thinking about starting, or your particular industry, again, just as we go through the deck, I like to just, just address what industry you're in. So this way we can really make the content relevant to today's lesson. So just a little bit about us here at Temple University. We've been serving the community since 1983. We cover Philadelphia and Montgomery counties. We can support entrepreneurs and small business owners, whether you're looking to start or grow your business, on a variety of topics. We provide no-cost services, and we are able to do so through our funding partners, through the United States Small Business Administration, through the Department of Community and Economic Development with the state of Pennsylvania, as well as Temple University. And we are here at the Fox School of Business, and we also offer our services at our other Temple campuses in Center City, as well as Ambler, Montgomery County. So just showing some of our key partners as well, and the services that we're able to provide. So we can work with you one-on-one. It's fully confidential business consulting regarding, a specific topic that you would like to meet with us on. That can be everything from, starting a business plan to, which legal formation you should pursue. If you're working with me, we work on specific marketing or market research initiatives. We can also support with any questions as far as with financial management. If you're looking to eventually go for financing or loans, if you're looking for government contracting or procurement, you can scan this QR code, check out our website, we're temple.edu/SBDC to learn more about our consulting services. Thank you so much. I'm going to just pause and look through the chat to see who is joining us. It looks like we have career development, photography, repair facility and maintenance. So that's really, really great. Again, if you're just joining us and you'd want to introduce yourself in the chat, please feel free to share your business as well as maybe your industry, and welcome everyone. Just a little bit about the additional services that we provide in additional to consulting. We also offer training programs throughout the year. We host 5 to 6 no-cost webinars like today's presentation on a wide range of topics, and we also have clinics throughout the year as well. So just to preview, if you're an entrepreneur just getting started, we always have 2 webinars that focus on going from starting your business concept to taking it into the business plan. So that'll be March 5th and 12th. We will also have one on accessing working capital. That'll be on March 18th. If you're looking for some guidance on trademarks, copyright, your protecting your intellectual property, that'll be on March 25th. And then certainly a really nice complement to today's webinar. Join us again March 31st, where you'll learn about market research and how to go about doing that and why it's so important for every business to really take the time to do market research. Again, you can scan the QR code on the screen. We'll also send a link where you can register for our upcoming webinars. And just to put into perspective, Temple University is part of a statewide network of small business development centers. I see we have people from all across the state. Welcome. But you also have a center that services your specific zip code, and we're part of a national program. So no matter what state you're in, or what zip code you're in, there is a local small business development center that you can work with as well. So again, thanks everyone for joining us. Couple of our programs that we have ongoing right now, you can apply if you're a veteran entrepreneur. We are having a veterans business plan competition this spring. We are partnering with SCORE. 10 entrepreneurs will be selected for this program. You will be partnered with a consultant and you will work on developing your business plan. You will also prepare for an in-person meeting at the end of April, where you'll be able to present your plan in person. So again, we'll send the link as a follow-up, but if you are interested in participating in this or know a veteran entrepreneur that might have interest in participating, you can go ahead and apply today for that. In addition, for any first-year business owners who are joining us today, we are offering a 12-week online course if you're interested in just building a stronger operations for your business and scaling your company. You've made it through the first year. You can join our Boost program to really take you to the next level. That class will meet Wednesdays from 6 to 8 p.m. starting at the end of March and running through June 10th. There is a fee for this class. Some of the programs do have a fee as part of providing instructors and any additional coursework. If you're interested in learning more about this program, again, you can check out the QR code, and we'll also send a link to this as well. Lastly, if you want to join us here in Philadelphia at Temple University on Friday, May 8th, we will be hosting an in-person Meet the Lenders and Resource Fair. If you're interested in meeting local lenders, banks, CDFIs, you can attend workshops that'll discuss financing opportunities and resources for your small business. You can go ahead and register today. That'll be held in person here at Temple University from 9 to 11:30 a.m. Again, you can find more information on our website or go ahead and put that date on your calendar. Okay, so let's get started in thinking about how to promote your small business on a budget. Certainly, it's a very exciting time. A lot of things happening, this year with 2026, a lot of different events and programs, but the strategies we're going to talk about today, you can really apply at any time of the year. And it's so important to really kind of go back and really touch base and review what you're doing to market your business and any ways that you can build upon what's working or pivot on anything where there are areas to improve. So just to give an overview of what we're going to be talking about, we're really going to get back to marketing basics. It's always important, even if you've been in business for 25 or more years, always to kind of go back and think about defining your brand position. So we'll start there. We'll also talk about digital marketing, your online presence, social media. We'll go through content marketing, different things that small businesses are utilizing or creating to promote their small business. The importance of local marketing, certainly identifying a lot of opportunities in your own community, and as well as word of mouth and referrals. That's where we want our clients to eventually become our small business ambassadors, where they are going ahead and posting on social media about how great your business is, encouraging family and friends to use your business. That's where we really want to guide any of our first-time customers to become our long-time loyal brand ambassadors. Once you kind of hit that stage, that's really something that, even though this is marketing on a budget, that certainly is priceless when you have those loyal customers who are promoting and helping your business grow. So we're going to talk about all of these different strategies, and as well as the importance of reviewing your data and analytics, and make sure it's not just a one-time thing, before you're starting your annual marketing plan. I suggest checking it out once a month, certainly quarterly. You don't want to waste, most importantly, your time, most importantly, your money when it comes to marketing. So having that, just regular review of your data and analytics is really going to share a lot of information with you and help with your decision making. So we'll get started. Again, welcome to everyone who's joining us. I appreciate you sharing in the chat. I see consultants joining us, coaching services, venues, healthcare, manufacturers, training studios. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today. So first, we're just going to start, like I said, with some background on what marketing is. It's really the process. There's a lot of definitions out there, but think of it as you're guiding the customer journey. Someone is initially learning about your business, whether you offer products, services, to that final purchase and that long-term loyalty. You want to guide them through that marketing funnel from first hearing about your business, seeing it online, to then they're becoming those long-term loyal customers. So what are all of those different touch points? And, how can we really optimize our marketing strategies, especially when we are entrepreneurs? We're doing a lot of other responsibilities and running the business, so our time's limited. And, oftentimes, marketing, it's really hard to have a large budget to dedicate to that. So we're going to talk about the strategies that we can use. So you can think about marketing as everything that falls under the umbrella, whether it's your promotions, partnerships that you're building, what's your customer service like? Do you work with influencers? Are you on social media? What kind of content are you creating? What's your branding look like? What does it sound like? We'll get into all of that. So really you can think about marketing as everything under the umbrella, again, that's your customers are experiencing, whether it's something they're seeing online, something they're seeing in your business, if you have a storefront or a studio. So really think of it as anything that your customers are experiencing when it comes to your brand. So you want to really start with defining your brand and how you're going to position it in your market. And it all starts with knowing who your ideal customer is. I want you to think about who you work with every day, who you would like to work with, and really be as specific as possible. The key part here is we all would like everyone to be our customer. If we're marketing to everyone, unfortunately, the message gets lost and we're marketing to no one. So it's so important to take that time. And even if you've been in business for several years, sometimes your customer can change. So think about, who are they? Their age, their income, their lifestyle. Where are they on social media? Are they using certain platforms? Are they not using it at all? Where do they go in your community? Do they shop at other businesses on your corridor? Are they going to certain restaurants? Are they on the go? Are they busy? Are they looking for places to spend time and, enjoy that community aspect? Take some time to think about your specific customer and what is the problem that they have that your business is solving. And really think about that, because that is what you're going to utilize in a lot of your marketing messaging as we go through the next strategies. That's what leads us into your unique value proposition. You probably read about this, you hear about it. What's your UVP? Really, it's 3 steps. Who are you helping? Your business. So that's your ideal customer. What are you offering to solve their problem, to solve their pain point? And why is your product or service better, different, unique from your competitors? How are you solving their problem uniquely? Again, be thinking about this because that is what you're going to highlight when it comes to all of your brand messaging. What's on your website? What's in the captions of your social media? What are your staff communicating in person in your business? If you go to a networking event and you have to stand up and give your elevator pitch or your introduction, what are you saying? You want to make sure that no matter, again, where your client is experiencing your business, that they're hearing those same messages. And again, it all goes back to thinking about your ideal customer. Who are they specifically? Maybe it's not B2C, maybe it's more B2B. So again, think about, who are the decision makers there? Where are they online? Maybe they're on LinkedIn. Maybe they go to certain industry events or trade shows. So again, think about your ideal client. How are you helping solve a problem for them in a unique way, in a better way? And that's how you really start to craft your unique value proposition for your small business. One thing I just want to make a note here, sometimes you might tend to think, oh, well, my service, my product is the lowest cost. As we'll go through this, it's not always that it's the lowest price. People will pay more if, again, it's your product or service is solving a problem. Maybe you're just the most convenient. You're the closest coffee shop to my home. I know that when I go to your business, it's going to be quick service, and I'm willing to pay a little bit more just because of that experience that I'm having. So just really give some time and think about this as far as with your unique value proposition and how you're going to take that to your brand messaging. And you want to focus that messaging on the benefits that your product or service is providing. Again, how are you solving the customer's problem? You want to almost have that person who's reading your website, reading your materials, seeing you speak at an event. If they're nodding their head like, yes, I agree with what you're saying, like, you're on the right track. You want to be really connecting with your customer and meeting them where they are. And again, sharing how your business is solving their problem. And when you're thinking about this, and as we go through marketing, think about your brand kit, your brand identity. What are people, again, seeing, experiencing when they're interacting with your business, right? If you have social media, you have a website, you have a business card, maybe you distribute flyers, maybe you have a vehicle that's wrapped and branded, make sure that, again, everything that you're saying is aligned, anything that you're seeing or experiencing is aligned as well. Think about how that logo, your logo colors, the tone of voice on your social media. Again, how is that communicating who your small business is as a brand? And you want to make sure that that is cohesive. As we go through more strategies throughout this presentation, you'll see the importance of that. That just helps with recognition. Think about some logos that are pretty famous or that we would all recognize. It would be a pretty big deal if all of a sudden one of those brands, changed their brand color. That would really show that, something's going on. There's a change because we're so used to always seeing and aligning certain colors, certain, jingles or commercials. We could probably, hear that and we would all recognize, oh, right, it was from that commercial, right? So think about that for your small business. What are people hearing, experiencing, and making sure that no matter, again, where they're experiencing your business, it's all cohesive and aligned. Now, I will say, if you are a Temple University small business client, that our marketing is supporting and offering consulting with logo creation, brand kits. So if you are a Temple SBDC client, be sure to either reach out to our office to learn more if that's something that you would like to work with us on. So why does marketing matter, and why should we spend our time and effort on this? Research indicates that it results in higher revenue growth for those that don't prioritize marketing. And I think, the fact that we're all attending this presentation, we understand the importance of it for your business. So now we're really going to get into the strategies and the tactics that we can use as we're going through here. So as we go through, if you do have a website, if you do have some online presence, go ahead and raise your hand, give a thumbs up, clap, if you want to just interact, just to see how many businesses already do have some sort of online presence, whether it's a listing in a directory, social media, website. This is what we're going to show here. So again, why does it matter? I think it might even be a higher percentage in my humble opinion, but research indicates that, majority of customers are researching online before buying. A big thing to think about is, imagine that, you're a customer, or what do you do in, every day you want to buy something. Where do you go first? Do you Google it? Do you look the business up? Do you search the product? Really think about, again, going back to your ideal customer, what's their first move when they're in need of your product or service? Are they searching online? Maybe they're looking at a certain website, are they using AI tools? We'll get into that. But think about, where are they turning to first when they're looking for your specific product or service? Is it a certain industry database? Are they going to social media? Again, you want to make sure that your business is appearing there. Great. Thanks for everyone sharing. It looks like a lot of people have online presence. That's great. Website, social media, Chamber of Commerce website. That's a great tool. We will talk about that and the importance of utilizing if you are a member of a Chamber of Commerce or business association and you have a business listing. We're going to talk about how to really optimize that. So one option that you can do, especially if you have a storefront business where a customer can come in, that's, open to the public. You either, are a shop, a restaurant, something that takes regular appointments, is to consider your Google business profile. This is a free listing for local businesses. The idea is that, it really does have that in-person component. If you do have a home-based business and I would, advise, you might not want to put your home address there. There is an option to select, instead of a specific address being shown here, that you can show a range of where you cover, where it might be a couple counties included, or maybe, the radius of Philadelphia. Google is a bit, there are some additional steps just to go in, where you just have to verify that location. So just a heads up on that, that they just definitely double check that you do have a business at that address. But this can be a really powerful tool. Again, think about when you're looking for a local business. You likely will have at some point, in a browser, look for it and look at the listings on here. If you do have a business profile, maybe there's room to optimize it. A huge tool that you can use is to ask for reviews. And if you're getting reviews and people are writing really nice comments, make sure you're responding to them. Make it a little, personable to them. Thank you so much for coming, into my shop today. I, really appreciate your support of the local small business. Go back and see if you do have reviews there, make sure you're responding to them pretty timely. This is a great tool because when Google and other engines are searching the website, they're also pulling information that's in the reviews. So it's really important to just be cognizant of that, and that you really want to get that for a number of reasons. One, I think that really helps when you're researching a business, what other customers are saying. I'm sure we've all looked through reviews before going to a business, or maybe making the decision not to go to a business. So it's so important. You can download a QR code if you log into your profile that you can, display at your front counter, share with customers. Would really appreciate a review. If that's something that you want to set, that's, your 2026 goal. I want to get 10 more reviews by the end of the year. That might be a great goal to think about. But reviews are crucial, and make sure that you're responding to them. There's also a capability where you can post updates through your profile. Let people know that, you have a new product, or give an update on your business. Again, when you're having an active profile, that's signaling that you're an active business. It's helping with your SEO strategy, which we'll lead into. So take a look and see, are you optimizing all of the information there? And I should have started at this with, make sure that your information is correct. Oftentimes, the hours are not correct. Think about, have you recently changed them? You wouldn't want someone to come to your business and only to find that you're closed. Make sure you're updating that regularly. Make sure your phone number is correct. Make sure the address is correct. Things that we might just overlook. It gets really busy, especially if you have moved your business or you've changed phone numbers, but just make sure that the same information is, again, on your profiles, on your website, on your social media. Again, this, eliminates any confusion and make sure that the customer can get to you. Also, having differing information is going to hurt your SEO, and as we'll get into, your GEO, because your information isn't the same. So you just want to make sure that, again, thinking about the customer, you want to make it as easy as possible for them to find your information there. Now we'll talk into websites. A lot of businesses might already have one built. If you're an entrepreneur thinking about, starting a website, there are some low-cost options. Just want to note, these are a few that I've heard, clients utilize. We don't endorse any specific product on this list. We do have some additional resources. We always advise that you do your own research, see what might, work best for you, might work for your budget. Always encourage, go through a demo, see how the tools work. But if you're making the investment on the website, you want to make sure that you're optimizing it to the best of your ability. We're having some advice, hire a professional. That is true, and might eliminate, sometimes when you're making these decisions, you have to think, do I have the time to set this up, or will the investment overall be the best option, because it will be something I don't have to worry about. It'll be done professionally. Again, if you are thinking about hiring a professional, make sure you do your research. And again, look at the reviews, see their testimonials, see their past clients, check out their websites that they may have built. So always do your research there as well. So now I'm going to get into, it might be a little technical, but there's a lot of conversation around this in marketing. And I just want to make sure that I'm taking some time just to kind of go through it. SEO is something we've heard for a long time, right? Search engine optimization. If I Google your business, is it appearing on that first page of the web browser I'm using, right? We all want our website to rank, right? One of the highest. We don't want to go onto the second page. Research indicates people rarely even make it to the second page of a search. They look at that first page. SEO, we hear a lot about it. Optimizing it for the search rankings. How am I ranking? I want to be, at one of the top. This really focuses on keywords that are associated with your business. It can be your business name. It can be keywords that are, related to your business type. So if you're a bakery, it could be bakery, bakery in Philadelphia. A lot of emphasis, especially if you're a local business, on your specific location, your geolocation, not to be confused with what we'll talk about next, this generative engine optimization when using AI tools. SEO really focuses on you want someone to click onto your website. You can do SEO work if you are maintaining your website. Great. I'm seeing a lot of feedback. A lot of businesses have made their own websites. If you go into the back end of your website, there should be either options. You can usually sometimes see a score about how optimized your SEO is. This really focuses on, the keywords that you're using throughout your website. Are you using the different locations where your business is in? Philadelphia County. If you're in Montgomery County, maybe the specific township, and mentioning that you serve Montgomery County. A lot of businesses like HVAC or home service providers, you might even notice on their website that they have a page dedicated to each township they cover. They're doing this for this SEO optimization. They want to make sure that a client who lives in Ambler and needs a new HVAC system today is going to find them. So that's all part of this. Again, having your website rank as high as it can be. And you can also do that on the back end as well. Does your website load quickly? Is it mobile friendly? Backlinks. Backlinks are when other websites are linking back to your site. So I'll circle back on the Chamber of Commerce business listing that someone shared in the chat. If you do have a business listing, make sure you're taking advantage of that. Put as much information as you can on that listing. Again, using those keywords, right? If you're the wedding venue, for example, who's attending, make sure in your business description you're writing, I'm a wedding venue that serves, the following locations, that you offer these services. Make sure if you are able to have any of those listings on other organization sites, again, that you're including the link back to your site. Again, any web browser is then going to crawl. They see that these Chamber of Commerce websites, business organization websites are linking back to yours. That's helping your verification. That's, indicating that your site is legitimate. It's an active business. It's going to help with your rankings. So I'm so glad that we had that example shared. Again, that's kind of part of the SEO strategy. Now, AI has entered the chat, and how are we going to optimize that? If you are comfortable, want to raise your hand, share an emoji, have you used an AI tool to search for a business? You're looking to buy something, looking to go somewhere, looking for a product or service. Has anyone used an AI tool? It could be Gemini, it could be ChatGPT, any other type of AI tool, maybe within a social media. I do it all the time. Yep. Yes. Thank you for sharing. So as you can see, we are now using AI tools for answers. Think about how different what you might type into a web browser, how you might adjust the wording or the question when you're communicating with AI. Isn't it a little more of a conversation? You might ask for a little more detail instead of bakeries in Philadelphia. In the AI tool, you might say, bakeries that specialize in gluten-free products in the specific neighborhood, or you might ask for a couple suggestions. If you want to, think about your business, think about the industry you're in, and ask an AI tool, give me the top five. I'm picking on bakeries today. The top five bakeries in Philadelphia that offer customized wedding cakes. See what is generated. Okay, what are the reasons why the AI is suggesting those businesses? So think about it. If you want your business to appear in someone's search, focus on establishing the authority in your industry. You want to be cited and referenced. Okay, it's not all about ranking. You want the tools to crawl your website and again provide your business in some of those search results. So you want to establish that you have a secure website, that you have industry authority. If you have any certifications or can highlight, your years in business, I've been in business for 25 years, think about how you can really position that on your website or any of your digital platforms. Okay, AI is crawling the World Wide Web, and you want to make sure, again, that your information is appearing into that. Now, we can, in a way, using different analytics tools, see how your website's performing with the SEO. In order to find and measure how your business is appearing in generative AI tools, I haven't really seen a definitive answer on where to find that data. You might be able to see some movement in your web traffic. But again, just thinking about this, I just wanted to make some time. If you're hearing about generative engine optimization, again, it's just how can you make any of your digital presence optimized to provide into an AI answer. So again, think about it in this way. SEO is like, how am I ranking when someone's using a web browser? GEO, how do I become the trusted answer that if I'm asking for the best wedding cakes in Philadelphia, that's suggesting your business because it feels that that is a trusted response for that search query. So should small businesses still do SEO? Yes, because AI tools are pulling from indexed authoritative content. Okay, so they're still relying on search engines, index websites, high authority domains, thinking about the structure of your website. We can talk about schema. You don't have to, be a coding pro. You can use, different plugins. You can talk to your web developer about that. So they both are working together. But again, just wanted to spend some time just to kind of clarify that and to help with this. So if your site isn't SEO optimized, it's likely not going to then perform great when people are using AI systems or tools to look for your business. So SEO is like, just think of it as that's the foundation. And then now this is really the next layer. Again, I suggest read about it, research it. If you do work with a web developer, think about just how can you optimize your website. It goes into the layout, keywords you're using, content that you're posting. So again, why does this matter? It's helping your business show up when people are searching for your service. Open up an incognito window, look for with whatever your industry is, and ask, what are the top 5 businesses in this industry? Look at their websites, look at what they're posting. You can use it for inspiration and ideas on how to even more optimize your digital presence as well. You can use free keyword tools. Google has a keyword planner. You can add those keywords to your website titles within your descriptions, especially those meta descriptions on the back end of things. That's like the paragraph that shows up when you search your website in the search results. Again, you want to make sure that you're using the keywords that a customer might enter into their search. Think about what would they Google, what would they search. Another tactic that you could think about is, using, if you do have a blog page, about, writing about topics that your customers are searching for, right? 5 reasons to get your HVAC system ready for spring, right? That's coming up. If I'm an HVAC company, I want to be so busy this spring. Maybe you're writing around that topic. A word of caution with blogs, if your website does date or timestamp when you post the blog, that can quickly become outdated. And if you go to a website and their last post was from 2023, sometimes that's indicating something for the client, that you might want to make sure that, again, it's appearing that it's fresh content. If you're able to remove the date there, great. If you can't, before starting a blog, just make sure that you are able to dedicate the time to post regularly. Now, the case might be, I'm so busy running my business, I don't have time to blog. But if you're going to use that as a web strategy, just make sure that you're doing it on a consistent basis. However, it can be a unique tool to use if you're looking to, again, use these keywords strategically to help your SEO. So what to focus on here, I know we've spent a lot of time here, is just to really think about the local SEO. Are you writing about the locations that you serve? How are you using those keywords in your content, your blogs, your web pages? Are you optimizing any profiles that you have, whether it's business listings on organization websites, your Google business profile? Again, you should be able to, if you have access to the back end of your site, to kind of see what your SEO score is. Sometimes it even offers tips on how to improve that. And I know we had a little bit talked about this earlier, but geo, as in your location-based content, especially for local businesses, you want to make sure that you're using that. Make sure that where Google Maps or any directions are leading correctly to your business. Think about, again, you can look at competitors. Like I said, I've seen some organizations have separate pages for the different neighborhoods or townships that they serve. Think about, how important are the locations to maybe where your business serves, and make sure that if someone, here in Philadelphia, if they're looking for your business, that they can find you. You can use Search Console to look at your keyword performance. Again, if you're utilizing blog or social media, you look at, are there specific location hashtags? I would think we're talking about weddings. Maybe you post a blog about the top, wedding venues for 2026. That's probably something that someone who's planning a wedding might search. So if you happen to have a post on your website, maybe that'll help, your website appear on that. Look at hashtags. Hashtag Philly weddings. Is that a popular hashtag? Look at your specific business. Look at different industry related hashtags that are popular, as well as location based as well. If you can use the two together, even better. And again, we had talked about GEO, generative engine optimization, making sure that you're formatting your site for AI tools to understand. They can quickly summarize as well as feature your content when people are searching. And that's really kind of where, again, kind of thinking about what's it prioritizing. Authority signals, it's going to search reviews. So if you can share, and even if you just work on reviews this year, it's scanning that. If you can get testimonials, if clients are willing to share, a sentence or two about how great your business is or how great it was working with you, and you can feature that and get the sign off to have that on your website or maybe for some social media content. Again, it's adding that extra layer of reputation. You're a reputable company. You have clients who are saying positive feedback. Again, going back to that consistent business data, something as simple as, is your phone number, listed correctly across all of your platforms? Are other organizations talking about you? Did you have an article written about you in a local media outlet, or there was a video clip on a local news channel because you were featured for Small Business Saturday? It's pulling all of these different mentions of your business. And again, all of that is helping your online authority. So, just to wrap up this section of the presentation, I know we spent a lot of time here, but just some things to think about. Optimize any of your online profiles. You can consider adding FAQ sections to your service pages. Think about what would your clients ask about your business. You can add those specific questions with your answer. You can think about a blog. Wouldn't suggest it for everyone. It really comes down to time management, your platform, if it supports that, but it could be an option. Thinking about location-based keywords. How important is it to your business? Again, home services, that's going to be key because you're going to specific locations. The venues that you've thought about, the different consultants who are in on today. Do you offer virtual so the location doesn't really matter, or do you have an office and that does play a big role? Again, schema markup for your website. That's really just making sure you're kind of letting search engines know what is specifically labeled on your site. If you think about if your website was a book, that this kind of markup is like the library catalog cards. Like you're saying, this is the business number. This is the service area. A lot of times either a plugin or your web developer can do this. As far as with making sure that everything on the technical back end is optimized. You can publish case studies, testimonials like we talked about. Again, looking at directory listings, maybe you've been a member of a chamber of commerce, but have moved locations several times, making sure that the listing is correct. And again, building those backlinks to your site help with that. So I'm going to take a pause here. Thank you all for staying on. I know that we're coming up at 11. If you do have time to stay until 11:30, we're going to get into a little bit more for this. So I'm going to move into social media right now. Again, would love to see if you want to just drop into the chat if you have a social media platform for your business. If you feel comfortable in sharing where they are, I know we had some LinkedIn mentions, we had some Facebooks, Instagram, great. Again, this goes back to LinkedIn and Facebook, great. Each of them have, great qualities. LinkedIn, perfect. Think about your audience. Where is your audience spending time? Where did they scroll last night, right? Before going to sleep, right? What are they on? What are they checking out? What did they scroll through on their commute in? Also on LinkedIn, great. Facebook, Threads, Substack, great. Really think about, again, social media content takes a lot of time to create. And if you don't have someone on your team that's dedicated to that, this can just really become just another thing that an entrepreneur has to do, right? And it might be something you really enjoy, but when it's a busy week, it can quickly become something where it's Wednesday, I haven't posted yet. Oh, I'll just wait until next week, right? Now we've went a whole week for this. So think about where your audience is spending the time. Even if you're just going to focus on just one of the platforms, make sure that you're just posting consistently. Some ideas for content, people really like behind the scenes. Again, and this is if it's appropriate for your brand and your business. Maybe not all of these ideas will fit. That's why it's so important to really think about, what do you want to share to the world with your clients? Again, you can look at brands that you follow. What content do you like? Maybe look at competitors. What are they putting out there? And looking for those opportunities. I've seen product demos, educational tips, short video clips with your phone, testimonials. If you can get a customer to, share something about your business on their pages, even better. So again, when you're thinking about social media, you just want to prioritize consistency. I would say really focus on 1 to 2, especially if you're managing all of the content yourself as well. Talking about costs, sure. So far what we've talked about, things that are that would cost would be some of the website platforms. You really have to think about your overall budget and how much time and that either you can manage your own sites or if it's worth that investment for there. Anything I'm talking about here with social media, it is free to create accounts. I advise you to really think about starting a business account, not really doing a personal account for your business. I'm not going to get really into paid advertising here. This is really just your own content that you're posting. Certainly can answer any questions as well if you'd like to talk about more about coming up with an ad campaign for your company. But all of these things are really minimal to no cost as well. So again, going back to the keywords and relevant hashtags, engage with your community. If someone commented or shared or left a review on your Facebook, make sure you're responding to them. If someone DMs you a question about a product, you want to make sure that, again, you're checking your platforms daily. You're engaging with any of your followers if they're asking questions. Are there, again, groups related to your industry on any of these platforms? Engage, you can contribute. It's a great way to really connect. I feel like I'm really focusing on home services this week. But again, so many of these neighborhood pages, I'm sure if you're a member of a local community, maybe you're a member of one, I'm sure you see local businesses sharing, posts, information about that. So again, you don't have to be everywhere. If it's something where you feel like it wouldn't benefit your business, but again, take the time to research, see what opportunities are available. And we can provide some of these templates for you, but it really helps if you just come up with a calendar. I would say, even if you can just post twice a week, if you can get to 3 times, even better. Just thinking about the type of content you're going to share. You can use a calendar, a template, an Excel sheet, whatever works for you. Think about what you're posting there. And as well as, that you're kind of varying the posts week by week, but make sure it's on a consistent basis. It's not, I posted 3 times this week, I take 2 weeks off, and now I'm picking that back up again. You just want to make sure it's consistent. Again, any of the photos that you're using, the captions, the language in it, again, that it's all speaking through your business, staying consistent on your branding. And thank you all for joining us. I know some people have to sign off, but we'll continue this, and I'll try to answer questions. So if you have any, please drop them into the chat. LinkedIn on business page, great. Best time to post or day of the week to post? Sure. Generally speaking, the best times are during the week. I've seen morning and I've seen after work to evening being times that are suggested that when the most people are using that. Now, I have seen specific to industry, if it is something like a fitness center, a restaurant, things that are people are looking to do on the weekends, that's actually a good time to post for those specific industries. A great way is to go into your analytics and look at your posts. What post performed the best? When did you post it? What type of content was it? Was it a reel? Was it carousel? Was it just something where you shared an insight into your industry? Think about what time did you post it, on what day. It's really interesting, and I think that is going to be the best indicator for your specific business. We'll end that on that'll be the final slide. But again, making sure, even going back to your website, go in and look through those data points. Really think about, when did I post that content? Why did that page or that piece of information get, the most engagement? What am I onto here? And really, again, kind of take that and see, how can I continue replicating it and optimizing it as well? So now I'm just going to move into some content marketing. I saw some people share that they do blogs, they have podcasts. That's all content marketing. You're creating content to promote your business, to educate your clients, to share a little bit about what you do. This, going back to the question about costs, most of it, you're just investing your time to create it. Now, you might need some additional equipment if you're doing podcasts. You might have to subscribe to a newsletter platform if you're thinking of utilizing that. But there are some pretty low to no cost options. But again, research indicates that this really gets a lot more leads. Again, because it's content coming from you. And I think as you're scrolling through social media, as you're looking online, you can really see when something, was quickly generated or when, it's really coming from the business and it really looks, authentic and you're taking away information from it. So think about, that this could be an option for your business. If you already utilize it, please share if you write blogs or you have an e-newsletter or maybe you do videos. This builds authority. Okay. You're sharing that your business, is an expert in this industry. And again, it's helping with that long-term SEO value. Just because you write a blog today doesn't mean, unfortunately, I wish it did, that you'll have 100 new customers by the end of the week. But again, it's that long-term goal of building that SEO. Newsletters we'll get into are very powerful because you're maintaining that connection with people who have said, yes, I want to sign up and learn more about your business. If you have an email, make sure you're optimizing that and using it. Again, if you don't, maybe it's something to consider. Video guides, I see people do kind of podcasts in different formats. Where they're interviewing other experts in their field or featuring other businesses along their corridors. Again, great cross promotion of your customers. Recycling content to save time. Think about if you're making cookies or what have you. You don't gather all of the ingredients and just bake one single cookie. If you're going to take the time to do it, maybe you're starting with, I'm going to write a blog on this topic, and then I'm going to take pieces of it to build out my social media for the month. And on that topic, I'm going to do a podcast, a live video with another business in my industry, and we're going to talk about, again, this topic. Just thinking about how you can kind of dedicate maybe one day of your month or, one time that works for you. I'm going to, do my content marketing, post a new update on my website, write my email to, my subscribers. And then from there, I can kind of craft my social media. That really helps with, saving time, and it also helps just with the cohesion of your content, that you're not, talking about all these different topics. Everything is kind of, working together in unison. And also, think about time of year. We're coming up to spring. Is springtime relevant to your business? Is this a good time for someone to get prepared? Is now a good time to take advantage of, hopefully the nicer weather coming up? Is this the time where people are thinking about weddings and events? And, think about, anything seasonally or time of year that might impact your business. For consultants, I wasn't sure if I, saw anybody, but maybe people are thinking about tax season, and now's a great time, if you're a tax preparer to be promoting your services, things like that, just to really think about having that fresh content. Email marketing, there's a lot of free platforms that have a free tier. Sometimes it's based on how many emails you're sending to, email addresses, how many contacts. Again, do your research on the different tools. If it's a fit for you, and think about, even if you have just, a core group of 50 customers who have, signed on and said, yes, I want to receive your information. Think about how much more of a conversation you can have with them than even if you have, 1,000, followers online. Both complement each other. You need both. But email is a really good way. Make sure you're having them sign off. Don't just subscribe emails that you receive. Make sure they're opting in. But if they are agreeing to that, that's a really great place where you can, test out new products, have surveys. You can run a lot of promotions through there, show this email and get, a special offer. But you're able to track and gather that data to see, How many times are people opening my newsletter? How many times are they clicking through? Again, any way you can kind of assess and view that data is really helpful to inform your decisions. Here are just some examples of email marketing tools. Again, not endorsements, just ideas. Do your research and see what works for you. I'm going to read through new to social media and marketing. Where do I even start? I would say again, start with who your ideal client is. Where are they? Are they on social media? They might not be. If you're working with B2B customers, maybe they're on LinkedIn. Maybe they're subscribing to a certain industry organization, and you should be on that database. I'm going to go back one slide. Here are just some ideas of things that are available for your email. And we can also share some ideas as well for that. And again, going into visual design and branding, making sure that if I'm getting an email from your business, it's the same branding as the business card you gave me at the event where we met. It's the same as the social media graphics I'm seeing. It's the same as your website. You want to make sure that, again, your branding is cohesive across all of your platforms. Here are some tools that you can use. They either have free options or low-cost options. Some small businesses opt to use a designer to create some of these. Again, you have to assess, is the time available for you to create them, or is it more beneficial to pay someone on your team or a freelancer or an agency to create this content as well? I know, again, we are coming back up on time. Just want to check in. Two more topics to go, and then we can wrap up for today. But one thing that I think is overlooked, and especially since we're talking about 2026, the events, the programs that are happening, really to look into your own community as far as with local marketing. If anyone wants to share, maybe if you're in Philadelphia and you fall within a business improvement district, if you subscribe a membership to a business organization, a trade organization, anything in particular, you're a member of a chamber of commerce, if you want to share that in the chat, think about local marketing. If you're on a busy corridor and you really, have some good relationships within the small business community, that's where you really want to take advantage of those partnerships. So think about, how can you grow your business? There's a lot of free tools. You can find events, look at directories. Are there events coming up where you can really utilize networking and those in-person events? Networking is a great way to, raise the profile of your business, raise awareness, make those interpersonal relationships. Again, think about, if you were referring a business, would you be more likely to refer a business you found online, or you had this great conversation with the owner at this event last week? Would you be more inclined to recommend them? So these are kind of free ways. I know that some of these organizations do require a membership fee. Sometimes you can go, to an event or two as a guest, or for, just a cost. But these are great ways to really think about, building those community relationships. Local networking group that meets every week, great. Chamber of Commerce, great. And if you are investing, make sure you're getting the most out of those memberships. See how you can really be strategic in attending those events, looking through the directories, who are the businesses that are also members that you want to make those, positive connections with. Think about, are there community events in your, township or your neighborhood that might be really great to meet the community, to show that, you're invested in the community, that, you're right here, if you're looking for the product or service, reminding them, I'm right here in your neighborhood. I'm a community member too. The importance of supporting local. So those are just some other ideas to really have that in-person connection too. And think about the power in that. If someone's, finding you online, you have that presence, but then also, putting a face to the name of your company, where you're able to have those conversations. Maybe you're able to get that real-time feedback. If people are saying, I didn't even know that your business was right around the corner, what's that telling you? Maybe that's time to invest on more of a local campaign. So these are just some ways to think about, how you can really optimize your local marketing as well. Collaboration with other small businesses. This is a great way to cross-promote both of your audiences, both of your clients, without cost, right? What are some ideas? You could do an Instagram Live with another small business. I'm going back to our wedding venue. Maybe you're on with an owner of a boutique that has, things for weddings, and you do, here are the 5 tips if you're planning a spring or summer wedding. Maybe you're a consultant. Maybe you'll work with another kind of consultant within your industry or complementary industries, and you write a guest blog together about, again, 5 tips for preparing for tax season or something like that. I see a lot of small businesses considering YouTube channels, podcasts. It's a great way to get in front of another audience, to show and highlight your business, again, with little to no cost as well. Co-hosting an event, if everyone in your neighborhood, does an open house. I see this a lot with different holiday promotions. I just saw a lot for Valentine's Day and Galentine's Day. If there's a couple businesses that do something fun, or maybe you partner, maybe you have a holiday gift box and you can have products from, each of the businesses on the same card or issue. Just different ways to be creative. It's really great to think about collaboration with other small businesses. One, it just builds that community, it builds your support system. And again, other small businesses are referral points. If someone comes into their business and they're looking for, a place to have a coffee, if they don't have that relationship with you, maybe they're not, saying, yeah, make sure you go, right down the street here. Think about your business. Who are the businesses kind of within, your industry that maybe you can have that, partnership or collaboration with them. Another thing is maybe thinking about, a referral card. Are there other complementary businesses within your industry where, you can just really print up a flyer, give them a stack of your business cards and say, if someone's looking for my service, I'm here. Those are just different ideas to kind of get thinking about. How can you collaborate with other small businesses, with other professionals? I'm going to see it. We have a question. Is there a red flag if the organizations force you to pay the membership without trying it out? It really depends upon the association. I have seen where some will allow you to attend an event as a guest, or a meeting, just to check it out. I always advise doing that. Sometimes you might just have to pay an extra fee if you're a non-member, for that. Again, before putting up the full membership cost, some can be pretty significant depending on which type of organization you're looking at. I always advise you to really maybe see if any of professionals in your network are already members. Is it beneficial? Go, their membership list or directory is likely public on their website. Check that out. If there aren't businesses that you want to connect with there, maybe that's not the business for you. But most do either allow non-members to attend. The ticket price for an event might just be a little bit higher, or sometimes if you contact their office, they might allow for a guest, or you to sit in. It really depends on the association or industry for that. And then also, just to conclude, I know we're coming up on time. Thank you to all for staying on to 11:15. Word of mouth and referrals. This is the best way that you can really get a client through here. And how is anyone going to refer you if they don't know that your business is out there, right? That's where all of these things, and especially the topic that we talked about before, really making those partnerships, collaborations strong. This way, you're getting those consistent referrals in, sharing, to other small businesses that these would be, think about your ideal clients, say if you have someone that's really looking for this, send them my way, let people know kind of the services you offer. Word of mouth for clients. It really is important to offer, excellent customer service. If you're having a client, referring you, again, I think this might be higher in my opinion, but research indicates 88% of consumers will trust a recommendation from someone they know more than any other channel, maybe more than a review they read online, more than how great a website says that, the service is. If a family or friend or colleague says, oh, you should check this out, you are likely more inclined to do that. So that's why it's so important to think about, once you have that first time client, kind of what is your retention plan looking like? How are you keeping them as a loyal customer? And that's something that you can do. Again, thinking about creating that referral partner cheat sheet that you can just give to other customers. I know I've been using the wedding industry as an example a lot, but maybe there's, if you're a wedding venue, maybe there's a local hotel, there's a local bakery, there's a local bridal boutique or suit shop or florist. Maybe just invest in some business cards or a flyer with some information, and maybe you set up some appointments with some of those businesses within your industry, and you say, hey, do you mind if I just leave this at your front desk? If you have a client who's coming in and looking for a venue, let them know I'm here. And hey, maybe you can work out some sort of partnership through that. Think about your industry. Are there complementary businesses that a client is going to work with? Maybe if you just give them, a stack of business cards, a quick reference sheet, to go to, maybe they'll be open to referring you. As far as with asking customers to refer friends by leaving reviews, respond to the reviews. Can't emphasize that enough. If you have some really loyal customers, see if they'll either contribute a testimonial on your website, see if they'll give you a sentence or two that you'll feature. And if they sign off and agree, I wouldn't, post a customer's picture on social media without their consent or anything. You can then utilize that on social media or within your newsletter. Here's what people are saying about our business. You really cannot put a price on these word of mouth and referrals for that. What type of networking would you recommend for an online only business? I would really think about your industry. And again, where are those potential customers coming from? If you're in a specific industry and you're online only, would it make sense to be at your local chamber? It depends. If depending on your service, depending on, again, your ideal customers. If there are, again, complementary businesses that might lead to referrals to you, maybe those businesses can be direct clients to you. I would, again, really think about who are those clients you're looking to reach, and where are opportunities to either get in front of them or get in front of referral sources to them. And I think that there is a benefit to just getting around other entrepreneurs and small businesses and just saying, like, what are you doing, as far as with your marketing or within your business, right? There is that really great benefit of kind of just like talking it out, learning from them, maybe, sharing some of the best practices that you do. So I think turning any kind of opportunity where you can network is always going to be beneficial if you are taking that away. And again, any of these new points of contact that you're making, especially in the professional realm, make sure if you're getting someone's business card, you're promptly following up with an email or a LinkedIn request to continue that network because you never know when that person might meet someone who needs your product or service as well. So again, kind of going back to the beginning of the presentation, guiding someone through that where they first hear about your business, they see you on Facebook, they saw your business in their search results. How are you kind of guiding them through the customer journey? They made the purchase, they signed up for your service, where then you're getting them to be loyal customers to then now they're your brand ambassadors. They're talking positively about your business in the community and thinking about all the different parts of your experience with your business and how you can optimize really that customer service throughout that journey. And then just to end, the most important takeaway is to make sure you're reviewing your data and analytics on a regular basis, not just saving it for once a year. And again, if that's something we can work together on, if you would like to work with a business consultant, why does it matter? Oftentimes, we have lean marketing budgets. You have to analyze your performance to focus on what's bringing you results. You want to save your time. So many clients have, dedicated so many hours to creating social media content for 4 to 5 platforms when really 1 or 2 are where they're getting the most engagement. Focus on that, set one key metric. This month, I really want to hit 5 Google reviews. This month, I really want to see an increase in my newsletter subscriptions. This month, I want to have this, percentage increase in people into my shop. Focus on one, track that monthly. Come up with how am I going to do that? You have your steps. Each month, go back and see, what went really well, what are areas to improve on. Look at your content, going back to the question on the best date and times. We can offer, these are the best days. Think about when your clients are commuting, think about late in the evening, think about weekends if you offer that type of service or product. But again, go back to what your data is saying. If for whatever reason this day and time seems to be performing well, keep doing that. If people are really responding to, certain type of content that you're putting out, see what's working for you and you can really optimize from there. And again, everything can be, quantified, even if it's just making a note of clients that are coming through your door. Are there certain days of the week where it's busier? Does that indicate maybe you can, make adjustments? Maybe you run a promotion during a time that's slower. Maybe you think about, adjusting your hours. Just really think about, again, how you can really, analyze any type of data that you're getting. How can you combine it all? Maybe you're offering, again, your newsletter or certain, code to use to be, thank you for being a loyal customer. Here's a perk. And then you're able to say, okay, this month I had 10 people, use that. And that's showing you that, people are engaging with your newsletter. You could do it on, whatever type of platform you're having. But again, analyzing the data. If you're going to join a networking group, how many leads are you getting in? How many contacts are you making? How many meetings are you able to schedule for follow-ups? Again, always just analyzing this. I suggest monthly. Certainly quarterly is a good way to kind of think about the year. You can have kind of seasonal campaigns or goals. And then it gives you enough time to focus, to pivot, to adjust if needed. That this way, going back to the question on how much should I invest in these tools or in advertising or anything like that, if you're tracking it on a monthly or quarterly basis and you're saying, this isn't working, you're able to then adjust. You're not going, a full year of trying something. And again, losing that time and money in the process. So I hope that today was helpful for you and offering some tips about thinking about your marketing. Again, if you would like to just learn more about our services, working with one of our consultants, again, on a variety of business operations. You can follow us. You can sign up for our newsletter. Also, we have a ton of webinars on demand at our YouTube. And be sure to follow us on social media as well. We announce a lot of our programs and events. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And thank you all so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. If you would also be so kind, we just dropped a survey into the chat. Would love to have your feedback on that as well. Hope everyone has a great week, and we will hopefully work with you soon.
Thank you, Gabriella. And thank you guys for joining. Thank everyone for joining. Just as Gabriella mentioned, we'll appreciate your feedback. And so we'd like all of the attendees to click the link in the chat and complete the survey for us. Yeah. And you're also invited to all our webinars, as Gabriella has successfully demonstrated to us. You can go to the website and then sign up for the upcoming webinars for the month of March. Yeah, and like we mentioned, the material will be shared in 2 to 3 business days to all the attendees. Thank you. If there are no further questions, I think we would like to thank Gabriella for the presentation and also thank all the attendees for joining. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Gabriella.
Thank you so much. I hope you have a
So
great day.
yeah, there's a question now. Someone is asking how much is the fee for Boost?
Okay. I will put that into the chat.
Okay. Bye, Gab. Have a nice weekend. Sorry,
Thank
nice.
you.
Yeah, thank you too. Bye.
Bye-bye. Talk to you soon.
All right, sure.